So now we're going to do a single side lamination with a cold laminate here onto a roll of printed media that we printed on vinyl here. So we're going to start by, we're going to load up our film onto our back supply shaft or rear supply shaft by opening our cradles, removing the shaft, coming over to our film, simply just putting the shaft into the roll of laminating film, twisting, and putting the shaft on back into the cradles. And now we're just going to close up our cradles. And we can align this with our ruler that's on our shaft. We got an 18-inch roll here, so we're going to just put it between the 9s and leave that be. And now we're going to come to our media. So we're going to remove our lower supply shaft and do practically the same thing. We're going to remove the shaft, put our roll of vinyl, come through, and then into the cradles, close our cradles, and center our roll. So now we're ready to web up our films and our media. And so we're gonna, I'm gonna, even though we use the ruler, I always like to grab our film and just run it down here and just do a second lineup. And I'm a little off still, so something moved. So I'm just gonna shift my media a little bit to match up with my laminating film. And then once I do that, I'm gonna wind my film back up. And now the next step would be, this is, the film obviously has a release liner, so I need to find a way to get my release liner onto my release liner take-up. So you can stick double-sided tape, you can take a piece of mounting adhesive, pull the liner off, you can use a little bow tie, make a little bow tie. I'm gonna go around and do a full spin with the tape, and then once I do that, I'm gonna actually pull the tape back and go reverse and make it a sticky side all the way around the shaft of the roller, the take-up. I'll put my tape back, and then so I'm going to bring my film next. And I'm going to go under my take-up with my film, like this. Never going around this bar, always behind this bar. If this is connected to the pressure wheel dial, so you don't want to have that going and changing your pressure as you're running. After I do that, I'm just going to give it a spin around, and I'm just going to take a knife and I'm going to try and just score my my film away from my liner. And just like that. And I'm going to bring my film down and I'm going to tuck it to my roller here and kind of just leave it there for a second. And I'll show you what we're going to do next because we're going to go to the back of the machine. So we're at the back of the machine, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my film back to the back table. But I'm going to, if you want, you can always lift your table to the front table if it's easier. So I'm just going to reach under, and I'm going to kind of spin the roller from over top, and so I can grab my film. And I'm just going to bring my film and grab it on both sides, and kind of just bring it to the back and just tack it to this back table. Just tack it. You don't have to force it down or anything. So when we come to the front, back to the front of the machine, we're going to see that our liner's down a little bit. I'm going to spin my liner up so we can see our film. And what we want to see is how the film looks. If that's tight to the roll like this and no wrinkles or gaps in the film between the roller and the film, this is what we want to go with. If we do have some wrinkles in there, if we have some gaps, we can go to the back, lift up on our film that we stuck to the back, pull it like another half inch, and stick it back down, and that should clear up any kind of wrinkles or anything that we found there. We're going to take our media next, and we're just going to run this up. And what we want to do is run it up to the table and just feed it under the bar and into the roller. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that I feed it far enough that it just covers that bottom roller, because we don't want to bring our film down, our film down onto our bare roller and worry about it sticking. It needs to go down onto some type of material that can carry it to the back. So what I'm going to do is I hold this in place, come down with my pressure dial, and I'm just going to keep turning it clockwise until I reach the point where the dial stops. And once it stops, I'm going to give it just a little more pressure, a little more clockwise pressure, probably about like a 1/12 of a turn or an hour and a clock, we would say, but just a little more. Once I do that, my roller's down. I want to get rid of this excess film that I have that coming out of the front that I stuck to the table. So I'm just going to lift up on it off the table. And then step on my pedal and just pull this through. And what I want to do is I want to get to a point where I can take my zippy cutter or my safety knife and grab that and then run it across here and just get rid of this that extra adhesive so it doesn't want to stick to anything. Still on my pedal, I can flip it to run, come off the pedal. And now I'm just, main thing I want to look for is making sure my media is going through flat. If it's if we didn't put enough tension on our shaft, we can add a little more. We don't want to over tighten the brake on our tension for our film and cause it to kind of stretch the vinyl and possibly curl down. Same thing with our film. We want to make sure we don't over tighten and put too much brake tension on that. We don't want to stretch our film, make it curl up. So the least amount we can get on our least amount of tension we can get on our brake system for our top supply shaft, where we're not seeing wrinkles. If we're not seeing wrinkles, we can back off a little bit and apply less tension. What we really want to watch is our release liner, and right now it's kind of way up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back off my clutch right here and let this release liner kind of come down and form some slack. We don't want that release liner pulling up and pulling the film with it and pulling the film away from the roller and causing wrinkles. So I'm going to adjust that and just watch that. That's mainly what I'm going to watch if I'm doing a roll like this. You can also stop it with your hand and allow it to form down towards the roller. It allows also for anything wants to stick to this film, dirt, dust, anything like that will fly around. This can be used as a protectant if you have an area where you're worried about dirt or dust getting in between on the fly, because there's nothing you can do. You can wipe your print down, but if it's in the air and it sticks, it's going to stick. And then it's just watching that through and keep an eye on the back, and then making sure that on my print when my roll ends is I obviously don't want to just let this thing run, let the print come off, let it run, and then the end of the film just starts sticking and possibly wrapping around the roller. So I got to keep an eye on that. I would have to pretty much, you'd probably want to leave at the beginning of your print job, just leave a little bit so you can cut here and enough to get through the back and without having to worry about it sticking to the rollers.